I always had respect for Canelo, but I just believe in my skills. The fact that people doubt me, it just fueled me even more, try to get the fight even more. And I'm watching him, I'm like, man, I can beat this dude.
Is Crawford the biggest fight because of everything around it, everyone around it, the fact that it might be on Netflix we're hearing as a part of a big deal with TKO?
Yeah, I think it's going to be bigger. Even the Mayweather fight is going to be bigger than that.
You think it does more pay-per-view buys than the Mayweather?
Crawford and Canelo recently shared the stage at a press conference, sparking excitement about a potential super fight brewing behind the scenes. Though their exchange appeared cordial, Crawford walked away with renewed confidence. He didn't see a monster in front of him, he saw a puzzle, and he believes he's the one who can solve it.
I'm going with Terence Crawford, you know, big weight jump, a dangerous fight, but somebody's got to prove to me that they can break Terence Crawford's will and that he can't figure it out against you. You know, it ain't no disrespect toward Canelo, but I've said this the last couple of years, I'm not betting against Terence Crawford against nobody right now. You got to show me this.
Crawford, the undefeated 3-division champion and arguably the most well-rounded boxer in the sport today, has been uncharacteristically outspoken in recent months. There's no tune-up fight on his schedule, no warm-up, no easy opponent. Just the looming prospect of a mega fight against undisputed super middleweight king Canelo Alvarez, potentially set for September in Las Vegas, assuming Canelo takes care of William Skull in May. But Crawford isn't just sitting back, he's
That fight, they're too many weight classes apart. And although the skills, Crawford is one of the best fighters that I've seen. Now, Canelo is, you know, fighting at 168. Crawford just moved up to 154, and he had some trouble with that in that fight. Now, where do you plan on going? 160?
Crawford has been deep in his strength and conditioning regimen, staying laser-focused on what many are calling one of the boldest moves of his career, jumping up in weight to take on a fighter who's ruled the 168-pound division with authority. But ask Bud, and he'll tell you the real threat isn't Canelo's size. It's whether Canelo will bring out the best in him. And that's exactly what Crawford is hoping for. He believes Canelo's been holding back in recent fights. In a conversation with Asterisk, the Ring Asterisk, Crawford said, "I think he held back with Munguia."
That's the respect
Older,
the power of
and
Canelo.
he does, don't get me wrong, he does have a lot of power. But all those guys that you name is not as skillful as me. I'm sorry. No disrespect to none of those fighters. The skill level is not there.
So how do you see a fight with Canelo?
Tough fight. Canelo is a great fighter. Like, I always had respect for Canelo, but I just believe in my skills. The fact that people doubt me, it just fueled me even more, try to get the fight even more. And I'm watching him, I'm like, man, I can beat this dude. I've been fighting people bigger than me.
He just didn't want to hurt him. With Bivol, he felt he didn't need to do too much. Against Charlo, he didn't see the point in going for a massacre. But with me, he'll be at his best.
I have Canelo. Canelo's more comfortable at 168. He's gonna fight again for undisputed for a second time at 168. So this is nothing uncomfortable to him. Terence Crawford's a great fighter, and of course we're starting to see that he can probably make 168 naturally. But again, it's a different division. 147, 168, two different.
This isn't bravado. It's calculated confidence, the kind that comes from years of mastering the craft and seeing things others miss. Terence Crawford isn't chasing hype. He's hunting greatness, and he's doing it with surgical precision. His target? Canelo Alvarez, the undisputed super middleweight champion and one of boxing's most iconic figures. But Crawford doesn't want the version of Canelo who coasted to a win over a timid Jermell Charlo. He's not interested in a fighter on cruise control. He wants the dog, the destroyer, the version of Canelo that shows up when he feels truly threatened.
You're not a 54-pounder. In other words, you say, nah, he's too small.
That's his take. There's a reason why Israel was so respectful in the fight. Anytime I let my hands go, he either grab me or move. For the bigger guy, you should have been walking me down. You should have been bullying me. Canelo can say, what do you say?
He just doesn't feel like you're a 54-pounder. He believes that you're a real weight class.
My real weight class is 168.
It's not Canelo trolling.
I just want to know if I'm too small for 168. A lot of people, my whole life, been.
Crawford believes that only under real pressure will Canelo be forced to dig into the depths of his skill and willpower. And that's exactly what Bud is counting on. I don't need the Canelo who holds back. You want the one who has to fight every second of every round. And it's not reckless bravado. It's the mindset of a man who's built his career on timing, adaptability, and calculated execution.
speed over Canelo. I got the reach over him. He might got the size, the power. I got the better skills, boxing skills.
Would it be more of a cat and mouse? The reality is Canelo does put people out from
He's not talking about walking in and trading bombs until someone drops. He's talking about outthinking, outmaneuvering, and outworking one of the sport's biggest names. Still, the idea of a knockout lingers in the background, less as a prediction, more as a possibility Crawford refuses to rule out. "I don't have to knock him out," Crawford told Manok Akopian. "I just have to beat him." Could it happen?
My brother, Terence Crawford, wants to fight Canelo.
Yeah.
Just from your expert opinion, knowing how Canelo fights, what he's like in the ring, I know you haven't been in the ring with Terence, but what do you think of that fight?
I truly believe, that, anything can happen in boxing, you know what I'm saying? And Terence Crawford is a legend. He's great. He's a great fighter. The only thing I see that I favor Canelo is that, is his weight.
Yes, absolutely. But I'm not going in there looking to knock Canelo out. His tone, though, betrays a flicker of something deeper. There's a curious edge to his words, a note of skepticism.
I see he wants to fight, he's made it clear. Do fights like that help your legacy, or do you feel like that's something that's not worth it to you?
Everything in my career, every fight make my legacy different and better, Terence Crawford is a great fighter, he's a good fighter, but like I say.
Not about his ability to stop Canelo, but about how the world would receive it if he did. Because make no mistake, if Crawford, a man who began his championship journey at lightweight, somehow managed to stop Canelo at 168 pounds, it would shake the sport to its core. And Crawford knows it. He understands the layers of boxing politics, the weight of Canelo's brand, the influence he carries behind the scenes, and the quiet protection that surrounds his legacy. There's a subtle paranoia in Bud's voice when he speaks about it.
If Crawford can beat Canelo, no problem. I mean, I respect that, but I just think they're stupid. I mean, excuse my language. The size difference of a bigger man changes everything with one punch.
Not rooted in fear, but in realism. He's hinted more than once that he's not entirely convinced the sport would accept a clean knockout without controversy. That's the uphill battle Crawford is preparing for, not just in the ring, but outside of it. The size difference is already making waves. But it's the narrative politics that pose the greater challenge. Can a fighter like Crawford, methodical and brilliant, but never the sport's marketing darling,
Canelo and Riyadh and made the big fight in the history of boxing in September, then two more fights in 26. Don't miss the line.
Truly dethrone boxing's biggest cash cow without resistance, he's betting on it. And he's preparing not just to beat Canelo, but to leave no doubt.
When he takes a shot from Canelo, one of those uppercuts from Mejia or those...
He could get dropped, or he feels it enough to be like, fuck this, I'm boxing. And then goes on the bicycle and turns southpaw for the rest of the night. And I wouldn't blame him either. Fuck it, you're gonna go in there and collect a fucking paycheck at that point.
Right.
You're not gonna go get hurt.
Right.
What good is it to get fucking 20, 30 million if you are fucking hurt physically?
Crawford and Canelo recently shared the stage at a press conference, sparking excitement about a potential super fight brewing behind the scenes. Though their exchange appeared cordial, Crawford walked away with renewed confidence. He didn't see a monster in front of him, he saw a puzzle. And he believes he's the one who can solve it.
Hey, Canelo Crawford, in the history of boxing, and this is the facts. Let's get it. If you see Thursdays, Fact Thursdays, I speak the facts. All right, I'll even do it for you. A good little man has never beaten a good big man in the history of the game, unless you go back to certain situations with Pacquiao beat me, but I was a dead.
Crawford, the undefeated 3-division champion and arguably the most well-rounded boxer in the sport today, has been uncharacteristically outspoken in recent months. There's no tune-up fight on his schedule, no warm-up, no easy opponent.
You want to fight Canelo? Would you ever entertain a fight with him?
Benavidez is a big dude. Not to say I won't fight him, but the only reason why I entertain Canelo is because he's not a big dude. He might be thick, you know what I mean, but he's not a big dude. Benavidez is like 6 foot something, come in 190, 200 probably, you know what I mean? I might as well go to heavyweight if I fight.
Just the looming prospect of a mega fight against undisputed super middleweight king Canelo Alvarez, potentially set for September in Las Vegas, assuming Canelo takes care of William Skull in May. But Crawford isn't just sitting back.